Hey guys, in this week's tip, we're going to start a multi-part series to create a few promotions that I think you're really going to like. Now, I met a retailer this past week at a local trade show and he wanted some help with creating some promotions for his wine club. So I said, heck yeah, we can do that. The first thing we want to do is figure out how do we provide an automatic discount when 6 bottles are purchased. Now, the key is it's not a standard package price. This particular retailer wants to use a percentage discount, so we're going to do that. Then what we want to do is take that discount and increase it when 12 bottles are purchased and provide that increased discount on all bottles. That's a pretty interesting tip, and we're going to run through it step by step right now. All right, so the first thing we want to do is show you what we're going to create today. I'm in my standard POS screen here, and I've already got 1 bottle of wine rung up. Now, the way this promotion is going to work, we're going to have 2 separate tiers. When the customer purchases 6 bottles of wine, we're going to offer them a 5% discount on all bottles. If the customer keeps purchasing up to 12 bottles, once they hit that 12 bottle mark, we're going to increase the discount to 10% on all bottles purchased. Now, to simulate that, I'm just going to go ahead and use a unit quantity after, and I'm going to go ahead and put in my 6 quantity here. You can see my total is $89. So a 5% discount is going to be, I don't know, around $4.50 or something like that. So when I hit the subtotal key, we should right over here see an electronic coupon fire off. When I hit it, you see there's the electronic coupon. I met my 6 bottles of wine criteria. Here's the 5% discount. Now quickly what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to change this quantity over to 12 so that you can see the difference. I've got 100 and almost 180 bucks here. When I hit subtotal, I should get a a 10% discount. Let's see what happens. I hit the subtotal. Yep, there it goes. There's my 10% discount because I purchased 12 bottles, and here's the amount right here. Now let's hop over into Pro, and I'll show you how to set all this stuff up. All right, so I'm over in SMS Pro, and I'm in a basic item cost view, one you guys have seen a gazillion times. In my case, I set my filter up by subdepartment, and I selected my wine subdepartment, which is 19, and just only brought in the wine items into my browser. Now, I'm in the make-believe world. In your world, you may have a subdepartment with beer and wine and maybe some other stuff that you sell within your store. To do the types of promotions that we're going to talk about today, the best and easiest way is to categorize all the items together for the promotion. That makes a lot of sense. In my case, I'm going to do the promotion by a subdepartment. In your case, you might not be able to unless you go recategorize everything, and that can be a real pain in the rear. So one of the ways that you can attack this problem, pull in, let's say, your beer and wine subdepartment. You got wine items and beer items mixed in. And let's assume you got more wine items than you do beer items. Well, pull the whole subdepartment in. It's going to have wine and beer in this list and all that good stuff. Then just group the items of wine by using the promotional ID field right down here in the POS table. We've used this in past videos. Basically, all this field does is categorize or group items for a promotional purpose. That's all it does. So one suggestion is if you don't have a subdepartment with just wine, pull all the wine items, beer items, whatever it may be, from a subdepartment into the browser. Select a promotion ID. This is a free form field, so type in a code that makes sense to you. In my case, or maybe as this example, we got a 5% discount and a 10% discount for wine, so I can call it 510. Then I can use this thing up here that looks like an ear. It's an apply all template. The only thing I'm going to apply is this change to all the items in the browser. Now I know there's beer in there, so all we'll do, assuming that there's more wine items than beer items, we'll apply it to all, and then we'll just remove this on the beer items individually. That would be one quick and easy way to do it. So let's go to the next step here, and hopefully this thing will start making some sense. All right, so the next step is just to set up the item for our electronic coupon. We're going to work on the 6-bottle discount first. Now I went ahead and did some of the steps to save a little bit of time. I gave it my item number following the recommended naming conventions, and I typed in my description here, 5% off for 6 bottles of wine. I'm going to drop down to my POS table. I'm going to hit this plus sign, and I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I want to create this record. I'm going to double tap in the POS description to carry down that descriptor. And then in my subdepartment, I know it's 19 because that's my wine subdepartment. So I'm going to type that in so I can keep that all within the same grouping. Now remember, in electronic coupons, there are a couple things that we have to do that are somewhat out of the ordinary. The first, drop down here to the others box, double tap in here, and enable zero pricing. The reason we do this, electronic coupon item numbers don't necessarily use the price field for price. It's used for a lot of things. So we want to go ahead and enable zero price so we don't screw up some stuff down the road. The next thing we want to do over here in the electronic box, that's for electronic coupon, we want to double tap that and make sure we select the electronic coupon, and we want to tell the system it's a store coupon versus a vendor coupon. That's really all we got to do over here into the POS table. So now we're going to hop over to the price table and get that all set up. So as we're creating the record for the price table, we're actually going to be interacting with two other tables. So I'm going to go ahead and open those up now so it avoids a little bit of confusion and makes the flow a little bit better in this process. The first table is going to be the coupon link. That's found under the item menu, coupon link table. I'm going to open that up and drag the table down right here so we can see it all nice and neat. The other one is a mix and match table. We need that because we're actually going to be creating two coupons, one for the 5% discount at 6 bottles and one for the 10% discount at 12 bottles. The mix and match table is used to tell the system which one of the two coupons to use. So to get there, I think it's under auxiliary. Yeah, there it is. Under the auxiliary menu, mix match. Open up that table and we're going to drag it over here to the right so that we can see that. Now you can see I've already got a mix and match set up over here for my turkey promotion that we did way back last fall. So I'm going to start over here in the mix match table. I'm going to go ahead and add a record, and I'm going to call it record number 2, and I'm going to go ahead and paste in my name, which is for the wine promo, and then I'm just going to apply those results. So we got our mix and match set up. Now I'm going to hop back over here to the price table. Remember, we got to add a record here so that we make sure that we're able to type some stuff in. Now in our case, on this particular item at least, we're setting up a 5% discount. So I'm going to come right down here to the discount percent box and I'm going to type in 5. That's part of what we want to do with this particular promotion is offer a 5% discount. Now what we want to do is make sure that we limit it to the transaction only. This particular promotion is not intended to allow the customer to go this week buy some bottles, next week buy some bottles, the following week buy bottles. It's buy them all now, get the promotion. So we're going to limit this particular promotion by the transaction. To do that, I double click in the method box here, come down to limit by transaction, select it, and you'll see that the LT is put right there in the box for you. While I'm here, I want to go ahead and double click in my mix and match field, and I'm going to select the wine promo, the same one that we set up right over here. The reason we're doing that again is because we've actually got two different coupon items in this promotion, a 5% and a 10%. This mix and match right here, this selection, make sure that the system understands when I get between 6 bottles and 11 bottles, I give this discount, the 5 that we're making. And then when I get 12 plus bottles, we'll get the 10% discount, which we'll create here in just a second. So this is all we got to set up in the price table right now. So I'm going to go ahead and apply those changes so we don't fat finger it and screw this thing up. Now we're going to hop down to the coupon table and we're going to set that up. The good news is the coupon link table is pretty easy to set up. We got to add a record, so we got to hit the plus sign over here. Then under the type field, this is where you may be a little bit different from me. Remember, I'm in the make-believe world, and I had a sub-department set aside specifically for wine and only wine. So in my case, I'm going to select the sub-department type, and over here it's going to be my wine sub-department, which is 19. So I'm just going to type 19 here, and that's what I would do to make this thing work for all the wine items in my wine sub-department. Now remember back when I was drawing about the promotion ID field over here? If you had to utilize this method of bringing in your beer and wine subdepartment and segregating the wine only through the promotion ID, under the type here in coupon link, simply select promo ID sales, and I think in our example it was 510, wasn't it? Isn't that what we used over here? Whatever you used in this code here for promotion ID, just put it right here in this code. It's as simple as that, nothing to it. I'm going to switch back to the subdepartment for mine so that it works when we go over to the POS. Now for the cumulative field and the totalizer field, just leave those at the default, which is fine. The quantity field over here, remember what this promotion is, 5% off 6 bottles of wine. So what do you think the quantity is here? That's right, it's 6. What this means is any 6 items within my wine subdepartment or promotion ID 510, if that's what you're using, any 6 items makes this coupon work. That's a good thing. So now I'm going to come over here to the method field and we're going to select a couple items there, and I'm going to show you a couple differences as well, just in case you want to set yours up differently than mine. Alright, so in the method field, it's also a drop down, so if we double tap in here, you'll get the list of available options for you. Now there are a couple things that we'll want to select here. This is a multi-select field, so I'll show you a couple options here. The first thing that we want to do is select accumulate for percent or bundle, because remember what we're doing is saying you got to buy 6 of these things, and until you buy 6, the price is going to be standard. After you buy 6, you're going to get this 5% discount that we set up. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure you set up accumulate for percent or bundle. Now out of the box, and what I showed you at the beginning, what we'll want to do is also select multiply using sales. So you should have 2 letters in here if you want to do it just like we did at the beginning of the video, A and the letter Q. Now what Q does, multiply using sales, it allows us to, at 6 bottles, get the 5% discount. It also says that if the customer buys 7 bottles, he gets 5% on all 7, 8 bottles, 5% on all 8. So what I want to do is show you the difference. I'm going to go ahead and remove this queue. I'm going to go ahead and apply the changes, and I'm going to hop over to the POS real quick and show you. When we don't use that accumulate with sales criteria, I'll show you what the difference is. Okay, so I hopped over to the POS real quick just to show you what happens if we remove that multiply by the sales criteria. I've already rung up my wine bottle, and if I go ahead and simulate that I've rang up 6 bottles and I hit the subtotal key, you'll see I get the $4.50, which is 5% basically of this $90 here. Now watch what happens. I'm going to come back out here and I'm going to re-simulate this by adding a 7th bottle. So now I've got 7 bottles and my total is $104. So my discount should be $5 and some change if my math is right on that. When I hit subtotal though, watch what happens. Because we removed that criteria of multiply with sales, we're only given the discount now on the 6 bottles. So bottles 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are at regular price. You may want to do that, and if you do, just remove that criteria of multiply with sales. Remove the Q. More than likely, though, you'll want to reward the customer for buying 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 11 bottles of wine, 5% on all bottles. So all we're going to do is we're going to come back here to the coupon link table, and we want to say multiply using sales. So your method should be A and Q. That's all there is to it to make it set up that way. Those are the main steps for setting up this 5% off 6 bottles of wine promotion. Pretty easy, right? There's one other thing that we're going to do, and it involves the price table right here. And basically what I want to do is, I cheated a little bit and I already set up our 10% off. I want to go ahead and go to that item, and I'll show you the differences here. Now, basically everything on this item is set up the exact same, except I changed the description, 10% off, 12 bottles. I still got the enable zero price, the electronic coupon, the store coupon, all that stuff. My percentage discount is now 10. I'm still using the same mix and match method of 2 that we set up earlier. I'm limiting this promotion to a particular transaction only, and my coupon link table is really the exact same, with the difference being the quantity. Instead of 6, I've got 12. Everything else is the same except for this little field right up here, price. I set it up for $2 here. The reason is because as you're ringing up the sales, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 12 different bottles of wine, you actually have 2 promotions that are kicking off or could kick off within the transaction. Our 5% one and our 10% one. So what we want to do is utilize the price field to rank these in a hierarchical form. So we're going to say that the 10% off discount outranks the 5% discount, and to do that we're just going to type in $1 here for the price. So now everything is set up on 5. It's at a $1 price point to say it's lower on the totem pole than the 10% discount, which we set up as $2. Everything else is the same. So let's just recap what's happening here. As the customer hits 6 bottles of wine purchased within the transaction, they're getting 5% off of all items. If they get to 12 bottles, that discount of 5% goes away and is replaced by 10% off all bottles 12 and above. We rank it simply by setting a price of 1, a low price here, and a high price here. These are just whatever numbers you want to be. I did 1 and 2 just to keep it simple for me. If you had a third tier, let's say that you go to 18 bottles or 24 bottles or something like that, all you do, same thing, set up an item that makes sense to you, change the description, set up the price to be the next level in the tier, so 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be, adjust the percentage discount, adjust the quantity down here in the coupon link field, and that's it. It's really that simple, that easy. Let's hop over into the POS and I'll show you a couple other things that you might have some questions about too. Alright, so to finish this up, I wanted to hop back to the POS and clear up any confusion I may have created earlier with the examples we did. Now, before I rang up only one item and I used the unit quantity adjustment to add items to that particular wine bottle. You don't have to do that. Most of you are just going to be scan, 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 and that's exactly what this particular promotion does. The 2 coupons we set up, one for 5%, the other for 10%, were set up in our case under the sub-department as a criteria. For some of you, you may set it up as the promotion ID, and that's fine. Any item associated with the sub or with the promotion ID, the PID field, will qualify, similar to any make-your-own 6-pack type of scenario. So I've got 6 different bottles of wine here, different costs, different vendors, different manufacturers. So when I subtotal out, you'll see that the coupon applies because everything in the wine department, at least in my case, everything in the wine sub-department qualifies for the promotion. Now, one other thing I want to show, just in case this happens. Let me go ahead and back to my flip chart and ring in one additional bottle of wine. we saw that the 6-bottle promotion applied, but let's say the customer wants to add some more there just at the very last second. We can go ahead and add, and this, I want to go ahead and make it simple, just add the unit quantity. So I had 6 bottles, I added 6 more, now watch what happens. We're in the same transaction. The system is smart enough to understand that only the 12 bottle wine coupon should apply. That's the way we set it up. Remember when we used the price field in the electronic coupon item number to help segregate and to help place those in a hierarchy? When we get to 12 bottles, every bottle from 12 on will be 10% off. So that's pretty darn cool. Alrighty, one last thing and we'll finish up for this week. The way we set both these promotions up, the 5% and the 10%, we only apply that discount to the wine items that are in the transaction. You can see here, I've got 13 bottles of wine on this particular transaction. Now I should qualify when we hit the subtotal key for the 10% coupon, which is going to give me about $19.48 or so. But let's say the customer purchases some other items. That's fine, that's no big deal. The way I designed this, I don't want the 10% discount in this particular case to apply to these additional items. Now you can see that right down here. I've got the balance of this order at $199 and some change. But the coupon should fire off for 10% of this total amount right here, $194.48. When we hit the subtotal key, that's exactly what you'll see happen here. $19.48 electronic coupon that applies to the wine bottles here. Now, if by chance you do want to reward your customers with that extra discount on everything on the entire order, well, that's pretty easy to do. Just drop me an email, call me on my cell phone, and I'll be happy to walk you through it. It's just one additional step that's pretty darn easy to do. Well, with both objectives met for the first of this series of the Wine Club promotions, that's it for this week's tip. Hopefully we've given you a couple ideas that you can go deploy in your stores yet today. Until next time, have a great day.